Welcome to the April recap, right? For the month of April, we did go down 0.55% for the month, right? A 30.35 increase from March's 0.20. So, okay, I guess we'll touch on that, right? It's always good to go back and look at the month as a broad instead of looking at individual trades. The month is an okay one to look at, right? Just I have already looked into it, and there's not really much in the way of bad trades, I would say, right? Okay. We did have a huge, pretty giant losing streak, right, from the 24th of March. Did I say March or April previously? I meant April, but okay. From the 24th of March, right? Pretty much we've had a losing streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trade losing streak, right? From the 24th all the way to the 16th of April. Okay, and in my notes, I actually just cut out these two because they are part of March, right? I just want to look at April, which would have been only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losers in a row, right? And of these 6, 2 of them I would say were not of these 6 actually. Wait. Okay, let me gather my thoughts here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 break even, 7 break even, 8, 9. So we had 9 trades, right? We had 9 trades for the entirety of April. 9 trades. Do we have a single 1% win, right, or 0.1? Looking at how my risk is looked at, 0.1, right? Oh, 1, just a second, like, because it's basically the same as the risk. It was the same, so it's a 0.1, right? And then this Euro JPY over here, that is what I would truly call a break even, because it's no profit at all, right? Then we have a loss, we have a winner. This was the only winner, I would say, for the entirety of April, because this one ran to 3.3R, which would be the usual target amount, right? So the month, we then end the month on a net loss of 0.55, right? 0.55 net loss. And then on these April trades, only 2 of them I have flagged as probably not good trades, right? Or maybe losses that shouldn't have happened. We'll call those maybe the mistakes, right? Do we have this 2% loss on USD CAD? And the 2% comes from basically taking the same trade twice, right? Because we had a M15 risk entry and a LC2A confirmation entry, which is on the 5-minute, right? So this was basically the same trade, just double the risk, basically the same, but double risk, right? There was no need for that. I think this is also what happens when you get too overconfident in a setup and you end up taking a bigger risk than you normally should. You end up taking double the risk, which is unnecessary, right? So in 9 trades, right, which are losers, and let's say 9 minus the 1 which ran for 0.1 R, would have a total of 8 R or 8 return in losses, right? 8 return in losses minus the 1 winner for 3.3, you'll be left with a 4.7 net loss. So you'd have a net loss of the month, which in terms of R would be a 4.7 R, right? Net loss. So yes, we had 2 bad trades, which was this USD CAD double trade over here, and then we had a USD CAD counter swing plus counter internal, right? And I'm pretty sure I said I will not take these anymore. Probably should go back. I'm pretty sure in the old video I did say I should probably not take these anymore, where you have counter swing and counter internal, right? Okay, good thing is it's the only one for the month, so maybe a little bit of progress. I think last month we had a few counter swing counter internals. I'm not too sure, but okay, like here we did have for March a counter swing counter internal, of which I did say was bad. Like, just avoid the counter swing counter internal because you don't have much in the way of price action to actually support your trade. So we have lost a net 4R, right? And in that net 4R, if you did minus the 2 bad losses, you would have probably ended up with a net 2.7 loss for the entire month, right? In reality you did lose, but it's like now you look at, okay, in future, or not in future, but let's say you had traded this month perfectly, right? Well, according to the trading system, the potential of the trading system, so remember the trading system has its own potential, right? Trading system has its own potential, and you as the executor have your own potential, right? So the trading system could have had a 10 in terms of potential, but you are a -5 because of whatever the case may be. You missed out trades, you took bad losses, whatever. So basically the whole point is for you to close the gap between the trading potential and yourself, right? You're trying to be as close as possible to the trading system in a perfect world, because remember, it's not a perfect world as well. Some days you're not on the chart, some days you are, so obviously in terms of back testing you would have what I would deem as the perfect system, right? But in reality it's not like that. So but what you would like to do is close the gap between the system's potential and your current performance, I would say. Then speaking on that, I would go into the good setups that were present in April, right? We had 3 potential winners in April, right? 3 good trades that I would deem as these are the type of trades you do take, right? Easy, the way you would want to see them happen. Excuse me, but you were not there, right? You were not present for the specific trades, right? But you could have 3 potential winners in the month of April, right? And if you took your 9 losses, right? Okay. Okay, my bad. If you took, let's say, the system as a perfect, you would have had 4 winners in the month, right? 4 winners in the month, which would have given you, let's say, 3 times 12 in a perfect world. 3 times 4 is 12, right? You would have had a 12R, and then only 9 losses, which is 9R, and then the math would be 3R, right? It's not 3R. I think the perfect math adds up to like 4 or something like that. But just as a pure example, it's just saying that you could have gone from a losing month, right, to a positive month if the strategy or the system's potential was being executed perfectly, right? If you executed it perfectly, you could have gone from a losing month to a winning month, right? And that's the difference between the consistent profitability and basically not being consistent, right? It's canceling out the mistakes, right? The 2R, those 2 losses you took that probably shouldn't have been good enough to be trades, right? Canceling out stuff like that, and then adding the trades you have missed, right? You add in the trades that you have missed, and not suddenly, but it is the difference between winning and losing, basically. The difference between winning and losing is the trade that you missed out on, and it is the bad trade that you took, right? Never mind the trades that you took, because you did all of these trades, right? Like this EURUSD buy, which is a loss. It is valid, right? It's a valid loss. It's part of the way you want to trade the system, and so you will take losses, obviously, but as you can see, the difference between a good month and a bad month can be the amount of bad trades you've taken plus the amount of trades you've missed out on. So I think, okay, moving forward, it's not too bad, right? It's not going horrible in terms of it's just crazy losses, but like bad losses as well. Like I think March had worse losses, like in terms of bad trades, than April. April was not a good month in general because the price action was very range bound and whatnot. So in general, it wasn't a good month. A lot of discrepancy in the trades where you have to decide for yourself whether you deem this high probability, middle, or low probability, right? Which is also a hard task on its own. But I think moving forward, we just cancel out the counter swing, counter internal trades. Obviously, it's a no. I think I did mention that before. So those are cancelled out, right? So you shouldn't be taking counter swing, counter internal losses, plus the picking one entry model for a specific point of interest, like for specific POI is important as well. Instead of taking a risk entry and a confirmation entry, rather take a double confirmation entry, a confirmation entry and a double confirmation entry instead of a risk entry and a confirmation, because a confirmation entry could still lose, but the chances of a double confirmation losing are less likely than a confirmation trade on its own. So I think overall April, okay, obviously not good, right? Obviously not good, but I think it's not too bad if you look at the trend in like 2024 and stuff. It was, Jesus Christ, it was horrible, right? Having like 1% losses every month and whatnot. So obviously I'd like to see this pick up, and that's the goal, right? Becoming a little bit more consistent, even if we start a few months break even, and then but eventually you should climb into the profitability as long as we reduce the amount of mistakes and show up more consistently. It should it should be not easy but doable, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing much really, because there's no trade I can touch on where I can say that this was really horrible, this shouldn't have been done, right? There was generally losses, and most of them are okay, but it's just small mistakes like doubling on the risk, right? It's the mental side of the trading. So that also requires some experience, and because right now you got burned for doubling on the risk, you're less likely to do it in the future. Counter sweep, counter internal is a little bit tricky because sometimes the price action looks so good, and you're human, you're gonna lose to the emotions sometimes and think this is a good idea when in reality it's not. More especially when you like have huge streaks of losses, you then become easier to make mistakes because you think, oh, what if this is the winning trade, right? What if this is the winning trade? Let me double on the risk, and then you learn that this is not the winning trade, and you've basically lost twice as much. But as you can see in here, maybe you'll notice that you didn't spot the break even and where is this? The break even, which is this one, and this 0.50. I didn't include these because they're not a win or a lose, they're just like break even, and some of these are bad. They're not actually bad, they're something I was testing out actually with being taken out and then immediately entering when a new price, a new confirmation is made, right? It's a little bit iffy. I would have to explain the whole thing, but wait, actually, if I can go into trading view, maybe I can, let's just say for example over here, right? You have, let's say, your entry model, right, which is a high that sweeps a low, right? We're looking for a buy. It's a high that sweeps a low, right? That gets swept, and then coming down here now is a strong liquidation, right? This will be a strong liquidation, and then we would be looking for buys within here like this, right? Let's say you'd be looking for a long position in here. That would be your highest probability in terms of scenario, right? You have a high that not created a low, but this is a pullback, right? Then it gets swept, which means this is a high, right? This high gets swept. A high that created a low gets swept. When the low gets swept, it's a strong liquidation, and then the market shifts bullish again. When it shifts bullish, then it's like confirmed that this may be a good low, a strong low formed, and the market may be ready to go bullish. And in some instances, you have your entry in here, right? You have the entry in here, but it doesn't really work out. I'm gonna change the color of this if I can. I want to change the color. Okay, I'll change it after. Sometimes, right, you have the entry in here, but then you get swept like this, right? You get swept, and then why is it not working anymore? Come on now, really? Okay, sometimes you have your entry here, right? You enter the trade, you think it's ready to go, but then it sweeps the low like that, right? It sweeps the low, and then you are still within the greater POI like this, like you have not broken the POI. This, everything that's happening here is still within the POI, which means if you can not look at this part like from, I don't know why this is so complicated to draw and understand. I'm trying to make it easy to understand, but if you don't look at this part right here, I'll make this like black. Black does not work. Wait, it can work if I make the style and the... Okay, I'm gonna waste bare time trying to make this work. We'll just make it an M15. Okay, whatever is within this M15 POI right here, let's say we don't look at that, right? Now we are looking at this here. We have a low, right? This is a high. It gets swept, right? Now this high swept a low, and then it gets, the market shifts bullish, right? When this, instead of holding, right, after this part in the gray, instead of it holding, it breaks down, you have a new strong liquidation, right? This is a strong liquidation because this is a high that created a low that gets swept. When that gets swept, it's a strong liquidation, right? And all of this is happening within the POI. So when you do get the confirmation entry on the lower time frames, you are still well within your rights to actually take this trade over here, right? You're still well within your rights to take the, you would have taken a loss in here, but now this is where like the mental side would be important, because you can start seeing things in here trying to justify this, and you really need to be honest with yourself and very, very, very strict with the rules. And because these two trades, like this one, the 53.50 and the 7, if you can check the time, are in close proximity, right? This was 3, this is 4, and on this one, this was 6, this is 8, right? And it's the same idea. It's a sell for a sell, and the Euro JPY is a buy for a buy, right? I was basically using this. Actually, when is the open time? Because this is the close. Actually, what's more important is the open time. This was 2, this was 3. 2 and 3 still close to each other, and Euro USD 5 and 6. Okay, 5 and 6, but the idea was the same. That basically what I've just explained in here. It's a little bit complicated, I get it, but it's still a way of entering, right, the trade after you've taken the loss. But remember, the emotions and whatever will be in your head, and you could see something that's not there, trying to justify it and then take another loss. Hence this method over here. It's really important to be honest, I guess, if honest is the word, but really it has to be according to the plan for it to be good. But I haven't taken a loss in that way, I believe. I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I haven't taken a loss where this is 2 and 6. This was a buy, this is a sell, so it's different ideas. This one was the double risk. So yeah, I haven't taken a loss trying to play that. I think it does work. I have seen Matt use it and it does work. So I just didn't put in the record it in because it's still a little bit in a testing phase for myself. It requires quite some experience and emotional control for you to be comfortable enough and honest with yourself that this is an actual idea and not just you wishing it works, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think April, not too bad, and then we just look to May and try and decrease mistakes and be on the charts a little bit more consistently. If we can just be on the charts 5% more every month. Also, by being on the charts doesn't need physically watching every market move. There's no need for that, but every pure eye should have an alert, right? Where you think something could happen, you should be alerted. When you do get alerts, you should be ready to go to your desk and look at those, stuff like that. But anyway, life does get in the way of some things, and some you can't avoid, but those you can avoid, probably do avoid, and just be ready to execute as well when the opportunities come. Be ready to execute. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.